in London. I don't think I gave an intro to this video at all, just started right into us flying, which had several hiccups, but in London a day later than we had thought, but that's okay. The day that we were going to get here originally was just a recovery day, check in the local, like, in our block sites, and then just catch up on some sleep. So this will be interesting since I'm here with my family and my boyfriend. We're running the London Landmarks Half Marathon tomorrow morning. We got in today at 7 a.m. It is now 9 o'clock at night. Great Britain time, which means it's 4 p.m. Eastern time where I'm from. So we're about to go to bed because we're exhausted and we've been walking around all day just catching in a lot of great stuff. We saw, as you saw in earlier parts of the video, we went to Westminster Abbey and saw some great sights there. We saw Big Ben and Parliament, walked around to some great eateries, to Covent Garden, which is a huge like shopping area, went to the Harry Potter photographic exhibition. I didn't even know that was there. Like, I had sent a lot of the stuff over to my family to say like, hey, like, do you want to do any of this? My sister-in-law saw it and was like, oh yeah, it's like a whole thing. So we went there, got some butterbeer, obviously. So that was pretty cool. What else? I feel like today's been such a blur. We've walked, I think, over 30,000 steps. Let's see, 26,602 steps, 9.9 miles. Just to say, a half marathon is 13.1 miles. So basically almost walked what I need to run tomorrow morning with some more energy and some sleep. Hopefully I will get that. So yes, what else did we do? We went to Waterstones, which is a bookstore. We saw there's like a book fair underneath in South Bank, or I can't remember. I think it's underneath either the Waterloo Bridge. I think it's under the Waterloo Bridge. So that we got to peruse as well. It was so good. I didn't buy any books, but I did get a bookmark. Let me show you. From the Harry Potter exhibit, I got a Ravenclaw bookmark, obviously, and then I got some tea from Twinings. So this is like a cute London edition of English breakfast. English breakfast is my favorite tea, so that I obviously had to get something. And then we got some butterbeer. This is empty. We're just taking the glass home with us because we can't bring liquids in our carry-on bags on the way home. So got this, and it came with the stein. Boom! Woohoo! So lots of Harry Potter stuff. We still need to go see King's Cross Station, which will have like the cart that you're pushing through, platform 9 3/4, that like you can do like a pose and like jump and pretend like you're running through. So that'll be fun. What else? Yeah, we just got some Italian food to carb up. We did our negative COVID test. There's proof I am negative, since all the runners were encouraged to take a test and show that they were negative and fill out this health declaration form before you go to the starting line tomorrow morning. So we're all good, we're all clear. Amazing. So yes, I have my running clothes out for tomorrow. It's supposed to be like 39 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is Celsius. We've been trying to figure out change between Celsius and Fahrenheit, between their coin system and dollars and currency exchanges, and then looking right instead of left first when crossing the street. Still trying to figure this stuff out, but it's been pretty cool. Even though this is my third time visiting, which I'm very blessed, very fortunate to be able to do. It's been 4 years since the last time I was here, but it's been like almost like riding a bike of like where things are in relation to like famous sites. So like going around Westminster and Parliament and London Eye and like and Covent Garden, like very easy for me to pick that up again. So that I feel good and makes me encouraged that like, oh, maybe one day I'll get to live in London and like be a local and people will be asking me for directions and I'll just look so confident and like I belong there. But today was just like, get off the plane, take a quick shower, get into some like normal clothes, because on the plane we wore, well at least I wore sweatpants and like a fleece, and I just felt so gross. So I came back and came to the hotel and we checked in at like 8 in the morning and rinsed off and was like ready to go. So yeah, it didn't hit me how tired I was until probably right before lunch, and we're like, we need some food, we need to sit, something. So that actually helped get some more energy. And then after the Harry Potter exhibition, when we were walking back, it's like, okay, we're ready for bed. So now 9:10, we figured out we need to get up by like 8:30 tomorrow morning, so almost 12 hours of sleep. Yes! And then head on out to the starting line. I won't have this camera with me while I'm running or any part of that day, or that part of the day, but we do plan to go to, I think, London Eye that afternoon, and then back to Covent Garden. There's a place called Bookstore Alley on Cecil Court near Covent Garden, so I'm excited for that. I wanted to save my book shopping for those experiences since I've been to Waterstones and that that Waterloo Bridge South Bank book fair also. Plus I just want to go to like some off the beaten path bookstores that may not have like the big names or chains that are known in London and like the surrounding area. So yes, that is my 6-minute intro / wrap up of day one. Yeah, I'm exhausted but excited, super blessed to be here and just living it up, and yeah, just excited for the race tomorrow, to take in all the sights, the energy of the people that are cheering us on, that are running with us. It's an amazing feeling, and yeah, I'm excited to experience it with my family. So yeah, I will let you go here. I didn't give a reading update. I have been reading Of Women in Salt on the plane, and that's by Gabriela Garcia. This is part of my April TBR. Over halfway done. I probably could have finished it if I wasn't so stressed and anxious with our like snafus from traveling, and I like don't want to go into too much detail with it now because it'll just upset me and get me more riled up. But you know, things like that happen, and we are just thankful that we are safe and we were able to come still and be able to partake in the activities we wanted to. So there you go. But in terms of the book itself, amazing. I love the multi-generational atmosphere. It's all like the different women in this family, from like the great-great-grandmother to like the great-great-granddaughters, the cousins, and like neighbors. It deals a lot with immigration, which I think is fascinating because it's Cuban Americans, Mexican Americans, and then illegal immigrants from both of those countries and El Salvador. So yes, learning a lot and excited to finish this up and see what I think. But yeah, that is that. I will now close out this day one part of the vlog and see you all tomorrow. Wish me luck for the race, even though by the time you're seeing this I would have been done already, but wish me luck anyway.
Keep supporting her right to the end. They get these.
Hi y'all, I am back. So I ended up giving a update yesterday after the race because we were completely exhausted or knackered because we're in England. But sorry, super goofy. But today is Monday, April 4th, I think. April 5th? I don't even know what day it is anymore. What day is it? Somebody tell me. April 4th. And today was a very busy day as well, but I wanted to recap yesterday. So I want to show, or I would have shown some footage of the race and some other things that we did yesterday, and then I will cut this scene, show you some snippets of what we did today, and then I'll come back, same place right here, same clothes, and recap today. So yesterday, the race. So we were, let's see, I don't even know where to start. we weren't in the first wave. So how runs and races work is that you have different waves or start times based on what your anticipated time is, or your speed, basically, where you give a prediction of what you think you'll finish with, and they'll put you in the wave or the corral of what that associates with. So I was in the sunshine wave, and my brother and sister-in-law were in the diamond wave, and we wanted to run together, so we just all went into the diamond wave, which was I think the last one, which is fine because we're doing this for fun. We're not trying to beat any records here or anything like that. So it was super cool, since at the beginning there were like people helping us stretch and like up on like these high scaffolds and playing loud music and everything. Tons and tons of people. I think there was like 8,000 to 10,000 runners total, which is amazing. And then we were off, and it was like so quick that we got there, and then we had a few minutes to stretch or whatever, and then it's like, all right, we're going. And it was pretty cold to start, so it was around 40 some odd degrees out. Felt Fahrenheit, I'm like Celsius, Fahrenheit, somewhere around there. So that was a challenge in the beginning because it was a little cold. I had shorts and like a 3/4 zip or like a 3/4 zip or something, fleece jacket or something like that. So that was kind of fun. Sorry, my boyfriend's playing some video or something in the shower, and this is the only time I can get this done without him judging me for what I'm saying on camera, so forgive me if you can hear that. And then anyway, so back to the race. So the first mile was pretty cool, like so much energy, so many people around us. We went over a bridge and back, so we got to see, run over the River Thames and see the Houses of Parliament, and then the London Eye and like some other cool stuff. And then we were like zigzagging all over like the main part of what you think of with London, with like it's called the London Landmarks Half Marathon. So we're running by all these famous buildings like St. Paul's Cathedral, the Walkie Talkie Building, the Gherkin, the Shard. The Tower of London was at mile 12, I think, and then we came back through, like the last 3 or 4 miles was along the River Thames. So like beautiful, gorgeous scenery. The weather warmed up the rest of the time, like the sun was coming out. I mean, it was still a little chilly, but the sun felt amazing, so that was good. Let's see, what else? I think all of us, or like my sister-in-law and I started feeling sore probably around like mile 8 or 9. Like my knees started hurting. I think her feet started hurting. So it's just like, you know what? It's only X amount of miles left. We can do it. So yeah, it was kind of cool to like hear the different entertainment and the bands and the cheering and all that kind of stuff was really fun. We had a lot of U-turns, and it made me think that the race itself really couldn't shut down too many streets in the city of London. Like we didn't even run by Buckingham Palace, which I think that would have been like a security issue if we like closed down all the streets for like the Queen and the royal family not to be able to exit if there's an emergency or something. So I think that's why they did that. Even like Parliament, we didn't run through any of the streets around Parliament, but we ran like as close as we could and made a U-turn and came back. So yes, so that was fun. And then like the last like turn, the bend of the road was a 1/4 mile to the finish, and like just people yelling and screaming and just cheering you on. So it was phenomenal. The medals were really cool. Let me show you. Do I still have medal? Here is the medal. Pretty sweet. And it opens up. Boom. It shows the route. Well, let me turn it sideways. Is that right? Oh, I guess you can't really see it. No, it just shows the landmarks. So we ran by all of those. And then like you can close it in like if you put your like finish time in, you can move the Big Ben of the Houses of Parliament and like spin it like that. So that I thought was pretty cool. And then after that, we went and got like sweatshirts and t-shirts. So you got like a t-shirt for winning along with the medal, like some juice, some water, like a granola bar, some other things like that. And then we went to like the merchandise table, and I got a nice sweatshirt that I wore yesterday after the race because we were like gross, but had to get back over to the London Eye because we had tickets for that. We kind of didn't estimate accurately how long the race would take, or like how much limping we would be from walking from the end of the race back to our hotel. So yeah, that was the other thing. We walked from our hotel to the start line, which is about 1 1/4 mile. We ran 13.1 miles, and then we walked like maybe 3 or 4 more. We walked back to our hotel, another 1 1/4 mile, and then we walked to, I think, the London Eye, which was like a half-hour walk. So I think in total yesterday walked over 20 some odd miles and had like 50,000 steps. What were we thinking? We were so tired. And then, yeah, what did we have for dinner? I don't remember. We did the London Eye. We took some pictures there. The London Eye is basically a huge Ferris wheel, but like a 360 bubble of the city, which a lot of cool views. We lucked out for sure. It was actually slightly cloudy, so we could see a lot of the landmarks there. So that was neat. I don't remember what else we did. I think we just walked around some more. We went, no, that was the other day. The Harry Potter photography exhibit, that was the first day, wasn't it? I did a recap then, I think. Oh my god, all these days are blending. So yes, and then we came back and went to an Indian restaurant for dinner and then knobbed off to bed because we were freaking tired. Then this morning, oh wait, hold on. I said I would stop. But I think, yeah, in terms of doing the race again, I would do it again for sure. Maybe arrive a few days earlier. We thought arriving 2 days earlier would be good, but in case of like some wild circumstance where we aren't able to travel 1 or 2 days, we would still have another day because I think I was still tired from the 7 p.m. flight the day before, getting here at 7 a.m. and then just doing a whole day of activities and then getting up the next morning to run. So I was exhausted from that. So yeah, I'd probably want another day to recover and not walk around as much. I know it was cool because we got to see a lot of cool sights and a lot of cool architecture along the way. But now that we've had that, maybe it'd be good to take the underground every once in a while. I'd be fine with that. So yes, that was that. But yeah, I will pause there and let you enjoy some of the scenes from today, Monday, April 4th. Was all of that. I don't even remember what we did. What did we do this morning? I don't remember. Oh, we went to a breakfast spot. I got like an avocado toast, which was delicious. There was like so much avocado on there. It was like either one huge avocado or like 3 small ones. There was so much. And then got an English breakfast, of course, classic. And then we went to King's Cross Station and went to see platform 9 3/4. So like there's this whole setup there where they have like the cart or the trolley, I think that's what they call it in England, and you can like jump and pretend like you're going through the wall. So that I thought was pretty cool. And then we went into the shop. I don't think we bought anything there, which is fine. And then we tried a bookstore called Bookmarks, but it was closed, unfortunately. It was like a socialist bookshop. So it is what it is, unfortunately. So we went from there to this place called Cecil Court, which is known as Bookshop Alley. So I didn't realize like a lot of the books there were like antiquarian, like secondhand used books, or very genre specific. Like there was like a cult kind of bookshop, there was a children's bookshop, which were like, they're relatively small, so I didn't find anything there that I particularly wanted. It was just a cool vibe to know that all these bookstores are like down this one alley that like it's like hidden, but it's cool once you come across it and to know to look there, or you just happen to look down there. So that was pretty neat. And then what did we do? We had to get our COVID tests done, because in order to fly back to the US, this is the thing that we were trying to figure out. In order to fly back to the US, which is different from getting into the UK, we had to provide a negative COVID test and show that we're fully vaccinated. Whereas getting into the UK, we just had to show our passport. I think that was it. So thankfully we all tested negative. We've uploaded all those docs, and it's a relatively easy process once you have the verification that they email you the site that you get tested from, and then you just upload that doc. So if anybody wants to know how to travel to a place that requires that, then we did it all through our app. But yeah, definitely having a international plan helps if you're using your phone for that kind of stuff, because you can just upload it automatically and then check in and do all that kind of stuff. So we're all set to leave tomorrow, which is crazy. It's like, wow, we already are at this point where we're like packing to go home. So yes, let's see, where else did we go? What did we do? Oh my gosh. Oh, we went to MinaLima, and I did get a couple things there. So MinaLima is the graphic design duo that have created a lot of the Harry Potter like props and like scenery design kind of stuff, and they're brilliant. So my brother, he got two, or I guess they only have two, of the Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets pop-up books with a lot of their illustrations, and like, it's gorgeous. They are very thick and heavy books, but I got two prints. So I got the map of Hogwarts, which I thought was pretty cool. And then I also got this print of Hermione's Time Turner from Prisoner of Azkaban. So Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite of the series, and I was like, oh man, if only they had the third book in the pop-up books. But we talked to one of the salespeople there, and they said that book should come out early 2023. So maybe if I get into this race again next year, I can go there and pick it up, or if not, I'll just order it and have it shipped to the US, because they're stunning books and so much detail, so much intricate designs, and just amazing. So we did that, and then we headed to Foyles. It's like 4 or 5 floors of like different genres and everything. And it was super fun to see the different cover designs of like UK covers versus US. And it made me think about how I approach book shopping a little bit differently, since in a US store, like I've seen the cover so many times through different advertisements and Bookstagram that I like know it as soon as I see it. But over here, like I actually had to look harder and like not necessarily assess a book by its cover, or like recognize it and be like, oh, that's popular, I'm gonna get that, and just go by how I feel when I look at the book, or if it happens to be one that I've read in the past or like want to read, then I will pick it up. So I got 3 books. So here is the bag. So the first book I saw was Time is a Mother by Ocean Vuong. So I wanted this so bad. It's interesting because this comes out on Tuesday of this week. I thought that was weird that it's already out in the UK, but in the States it doesn't come out till tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. I really liked the first book I read from him, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, so appreciated that. Then this was like a last second purchase. It was by at the register. It's My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I thought was pretty fun, and I think comical fiction. And then The Appeal by Janice Hallett, so like a murder mystery kind of book. So yes, I'm very happy. 3 books I think is pretty good. Not as much damage as I thought, but I will take it. Just gotta figure out how to pack it in my bags now. That's the next challenge, is to get through packing everything up, getting ready to leave. So sad. But yes, I will leave it there, and then probably do another wrap up either tomorrow when we get home as like a whole recap of the entire experience. When I'm less tired, I do need to take a shower and like do my hair and look presentable again because we're so tired. So much walking again today too. But it's all good fun. It's like not once in a lifetime, but sometimes it is. And at least to do it with my family and my boyfriend, it's been a really great experience. But I will recap all of that another time. So yes, I will catch you all later. Back in the States, yay! Hey y'all, I am officially back in Ohio. It's actually a few days after we got back since I've been so exhausted. So we flew from London Heathrow to DC, and we're in DC for probably like an hour and a half. And by that point, I tried not to sleep on the plane because I'm like, okay, I need to be very, very tired when I go to bed tonight so that like I try to get back onto my schedule again, but I took a nap. And I read a little bit. I ended up finishing Of Women in Salt by Gabriela Garcia. I think the last time I spoke to you all, I was about like a third, halfway through. I can't remember, but this was absolutely brilliant. I love the generational kind of focus on each of a lot of the women in the family and just how each of them have kind of like affected each other's lives or had an influence in some kind of way, and how something's kind of come full circle. So that I thought was really beautiful, and again, really important messaging around immigration and what that looks like for many individuals, at least in the US and Mexico, Latin America, South American countries. So that I thought was very, very brilliant. And then I started Infinite Country by Patricia Engel, and this is also another immigration story of a young family from Colombia, so just outside Bogota, and they go up to the US in, I think it's close to 9/11, because the mom in the young family just remembers seeing that as like one of the first moments when they came into the US. They were still down, I think, in the southern states. But yes, so this, as of right now, I've finished it, but at the time of coming back from London, I think I was about a third of the way through when I started on the plane and read a little bit from DC to Cincinnati. So this I thought was really lovely. I didn't realize I guess I did know that these were two stories about like immigration from either like Mexico, South America, Latin American countries, but very different stories, but similar themes within or weaved throughout it, so that I thought was very important. But yeah, so we had those, and then I feel like I've already gone over my purchases. My last video to you all was like super rushed because I'm like, like it's very, very busy. So I can say, at least now that I'm back, it's been a full week since we've been there. What's today? I'm filming this on Tuesday, and we flew back 1 week ago today. So sad. So, and it's funny, as I've been going throughout the week, last week, I'm like, oh, this time last week we were walking by the Shard, or like this time last week we were eating this amazing avocado toast. So yeah, I've just been doing things like that, and I'm already like, oh, when can we go back? We do have a trip in August to Scotland, so that will be exciting to go back to Europe. I know it's not the same country, it's the same, like it's within the United Kingdom, but I think I have layovers in Dublin, and then my brother and sister-in-law, they're going again, or coming with me again on this trip, but they have different connections. They have a layover, I think, in London, and I'm super jealous. It's not enough time for them to like do anything because the airport is like an hour train ride from like the city itself. So yeah, I can't remember if I mentioned this too. My one friend, Michael, had asked if there was a chance I could take either like sabbatical or work for my company in London for 6 months. And I'm like, that would be awesome, but it's hard because like my company, we have employees and staff members all across the US, and I see what that's like for our West Coast friends and how their times are kind of different. And some of them choose to work earlier just to keep up with what our times are on the East Coast. That's like our main times. But if I was in London and I wanted to keep to the times on the East Coast, or try to be as close as when they're meeting and doing their work, I would have to work from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 12 to 8 p.m. So not ideal, but not impossible either. I am usually a morning person and get a lot more done before noon than I do the rest of the afternoon when it comes to work. So if that was something I would do, I would have to change a lot about my lifestyle, I guess. I would have, I mean, like, I could do a lot more in the morning, like workouts, food prep, running errands, things like that. But I mean, like, I'm not really a night owl in terms of going out, so I guess it wouldn't make a difference. The only things I do in the evening here are like play volleyball, and then we watch like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and like some TV shows. But some of those could be watched at another time. They don't have to be on time. And like, I don't think they stream Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune in London anyway. There were some games that I'm like, what is this? There was one that looked like Plinko from Price is Right. And then there's another one that was kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but it was based off what your specialty areas are. And there's no multiple choice. You just have to give the right answer in a certain amount of time. And that was like, they were like so fast and it was blowing me away how smart they were. But I'm like, I like my American shows or like reality quiz, TV game shows, whatever. So yeah, that got me thinking about, you know what, that would be cool because I do have a fully remote job, which I'm very fortunate and lucky to have. Could I do that? But then I also thought, I tried not to use my credit card as much because I liked having a finite amount of money that I ended up doing like currency exchange for, and like the currency rate or exchange rate was like not the best, but like what are you gonna do? But I noticed that I had like transaction fees on my credit card. I'm like, oh gosh, if I lived here, I'd have to figure that out, like banking, so I don't get charged all this all the time. So that, I know, there's lots of things to consider. That is like not one of the big reasons, but it was something that I thought about. And then I'd also think about like the lodging, because it's not cheap. I looked at what the cheapest neighborhoods, or like what neighborhoods in London would cost in rent per month, and it's like above 1,000, and that's in pounds, I think, and that is I think that would be higher in US dollars. I think that's how it works. Yes, yeah. So anyway, that is a consideration. I wouldn't have to pay for like gas or anything, but we walked everywhere. So that, I guess, would be me, would be my commuting, but like I wouldn't be commuting to work. I'd be going to like different bookshops and coffee shops and all that kind of stuff and going places to eat. That's the other thing too. Food is expensive, so I'd have to figure out like groceries and like how to or like have a place that is good for cooking and all that kind of stuff. So lots to consider. Maybe I'll make a plan pretending like this would actually happen. I don't think it will ever happen, but it's nice to dream. I just love it there so much. Obviously, I'm already thinking about going again. Ay. But they just released the next date for the race for next year. It's around the same time, like April 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, somewhere around there. I can't remember, whatever that Sunday is. So that also has to be another lottery system to get into. It's not based off of previous entries. It's not based off the time that you finish your races in or anything like that. It's purely luck and chance. So fingers crossed. Please cross your fingers for me. I would love to go back again and maybe have like a slower paced experience, because it did feel like we were rushing around, and I've said that a few times, and they realized that too. Just because of like all the things we wanted to see, us being delayed a day really put a damper on things too. So if I were to go back anytime soon, I probably get there, I think I said this too, like a few days even earlier than I had planned, and maybe just do a week there, and maybe think about doing like the working or remote work from there, since I checked my email a few times and did some work while I was over there, like nothing meeting wise, but I just followed up on a few tasks that I was working on. So yeah, I don't know. That would be kind of cool though. Like, oh, I'm getting a meeting in London. Anywho, yes, I think that's pretty much it. I do say I haven't been drinking a lot of water recently, so I bought this giant thing. It's bigger than my head. This is a 64-ounce like stainless steel bottle, and like I think I was at Marshall's or TJ Maxx or Home Goods, one of those places, and they had like the gallon like plastic jugs of these that have like a mark that says like, oh, like almost there, or like start drinking at 8 a.m. or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I kind of want that, and like be encouraged to drink more water, since I don't know, I've just been very dehydrated, and like notice I've not been drinking a lot of water recently, and I do feel good when I drink a bunch and like just feel I don't know, there's just something you just feel good about when you have water. So this is my solution. So I bought this online and this came yesterday and I'm slowly going through it. It would be great if I can at least go through one of these. 2 of these would be like a gallon, or like what people say you should be getting. But I think a gallon is a lot of water. Like I would be running to use the restroom like constantly. Okay, any other updates? I don't know. I feel like I didn't do much talking for the London vlog because we were always running all over the place. I'd be afraid to like hold my camera up and walk and talk and try to do things because the streets were so like bustling, and like I was leading the pack a bunch of times and we were like on a mission to get places by a certain time. But maybe when we go to Scotland, I think that'll be good because it's a travel agent, like group travel experience where everything's pretty much laid out for us. Like we just need to make sure we like get on the bus at the right time, and that's pretty much it. So I think then I'll have some more time to talk to the camera and do more of a narrative than just show a bunch of shots. Yeah, I don't know at this point. I haven't edited any part of this video yet. I don't know what it looks like. I hope it looks good and that it came together and it's not all choppy, but I just wanted to show as much as I could while I was there and just give you that experience. I guess if it is choppy, that pretty much shows how the experience was because we were running all over the place, so it is accurate. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you all get a chance to travel to some place you're excited about in the near future and share your experiences with close friends and people you want to share your experience with. And then we'll hopefully have some more videos like this in the future. I do have a few trips coming up. I did mention Scotland. I have New York City. I have Phoenix and Austin. And then I have my reading retreat, which I'm not revealing where it is yet. I might have already said something. I honestly don't remember, but I am not saying it here. I will share later where that will be. And then I think that's it for a little bit. Yeah, I think so. I think that's it until we figure out what we're doing for Christmas with my family, for renting like another Airbnb or something like that. Not sure. Oh, I have a wedding in Maryland, but that's going to be a very, very quick trip. So yes. Yeah, that is pretty much it. Thanks again for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below some of your favorite parts from this video or where you would like to go in London or other places you'd like to visit. And feel free to hit subscribe. Feel free to hit the notification bell to know when I post again. I hope you all have a great day and happy reading.